Yo, so in this video, I'm gonna talk to all my producers. Y'all often get so little respect, and I wanna give you guys my insight on what I would be doing if I were a new producer. But before we get into that, hello, my name is Ruslan. I am a hip-hop artist and entrepreneur, and this channel exists to encourage, inspire, empower other artists, creatives, and entrepreneurs. And if you're new here, please subscribe and turn the notification button on. Now, producers. I love my producers. I think producers are the backbone of the industry. I think they oftentimes get so little credit, and I want to see you guys just do better and win and make money and be successful. Now, I started out as a producer myself. I got to a place where I just had been around too many dope producers to justify making beats, but I'm still passionate about it, and I still dabble and kind of co-produce and do post-production. Last week's video, I talked about what would I be doing if I were a new artist, and in that video, I said one of the things I would not be doing is buying exclusive beats and paying for studio time. Now, some of y'all sent me messages on the superphone and was like, yo, I sell beats and I ran out studio time. What are you talking about? You taking my business. I pushed back. It's actually more beneficial for producers right now in 2017 to build themselves a leasing business than to hustle $200, $300, $400 exclusive beats. I know a lot of producers right now that are running around the country hoping to sell exclusive beats, doing beat sales on SoundCloud, waiting for a placement to land so they can make a couple $1,000s on a major label project. And then all along, their finances are completely a train wreck because they don't have consistent money coming in. The person that I think to me is really good with this content, and I'd encourage you guys to subscribe to his channel, is my brother Curtis King. He is a producer that was really struggling, hit rock bottom, and then started his leasing business, and it literally changed everything for him. He also does these Curspiration videos, and he talks to producers, he talks to artists. But the idea is, you guys, producers, y'all got two options. You could either A, work a job, maybe live with your mom, do your thing, and hope that you land some major production, hope that you land some exclusives, pedal beats for $100, $200, $300 on SoundCloud, and wait until something cracks off. And I'm okay if you want to do that. If you want to work a job and if you want to put in that type of effort because maybe you don't want to lease beats or whatever, I'm fine with that. But I would encourage you guys to go out and build your own business. The other alternative is you're gonna have to work a job, you're gonna have to support yourself for a season, but there's so much money on the licensing and the leasing side of the music business right now. And what that practically looks like is you develop a website. BeatStars is a great resource. There's also another one. They formerly used to go by My Flash Store, but BeatStars is probably the main one. It's a back-end store where people go and lease production, and then you just have your own thing, and they handle your contracts, your drops over the beats. They take care of everything for you. I think you pay like $150 a year. You keep all the profits, and you create a system where people can then go and license your music. That's what a lease is. It's they're licensing your music to use it up to a certain number of sales or streams. Standard lease is like for 500,000 streams, or, you know, I don't know, 5,000 sales or something like that. And what's basically happening, and people overlook this, the moment you sell your beat to someone exclusively, you're selling your intellectual property. It's done. You do not own that composition anymore. You don't own the master of that recording anymore. Whoever you sell it to does now. You still own some of the publishing, but in terms of owning that music, you don't own it. When you lease or license your music, you still retain ownership of the master. Why is that important? Curtis King does this great illustration that your masters and your music, your beats is like real estate. The more real estate you have, the more options you have to get something licensed. And I remember doing a song for a compilation, and I actually leased one of his beats because all my producers were busy and I didn't have time to get something custom made. And I leased one of his beats, and then he ended up selling the exclusives to that beat, and he was telling me about it, how that one beat that I leased ended up having over 100 leases, and then he ended up selling the exclusives for like $500, $600. Now, that one beat at a $30 lease price generated close to $3,500 for him off of one beat. Imagine if he had just thrown that on SoundCloud and sold it for $200 or $300. So the math for you producers really works in your favor because you're retaining the ownership of your music and your intellectual property. You could set your exclusive prices higher, $300, $400, $500, $600. And it's actually serving the community of musicians, of independent musicians, up and coming musicians, because they aren't having to spend all their money and blow their entire budget on exclusives. They can actually spend money on marketing their music and shooting music videos and doing other things. Think about if you're an artist in this climate where you're not making a bunch of money off of streaming and you have to come out the gate and spend $2,000, $3,000 just on production, right? So that's a lot of people's entire budget. Now you still got to pay for mixing, you still got to pay for music videos, you still got to pay for all these other things. But if you're coming out the gate and you're spending $300, $400 on production, you actually have extra cash flow to market the music, to help get the music get out there. And a lot of big artists that you guys wouldn't know start out leasing their beats initially. One of the most popular ones is Kyle, leased Don't Wanna Fall in Love. There's a bunch of Bryson Tiller beats that he leased out. The Panda song was initially a lease. The Old Gold Everything song was a lease. The entire industry is starting to shift further and further in that direction. So what happens is if an artist uses your beat and it becomes a hit record, they have to come back, renegotiate with you. Maybe they'll buy the exclusives, which then you'd probably charge a bit more for it, or they have to renegotiate their license and you can continue selling that beat and leasing that beat out to other people. Hopefully that gives you guys a bit more context on what leasing is and gives you some more context of the value that you're actually presenting to the marketplace and the value you have as a producer. Once you get a leasing store up, what you need to do is promote the lease. The best way to do this, you guys, some of you producers are gonna hate me because it tarnishes your brand, but I don't really care. But the best way, the most effective way to do this is creating a separate YouTube page and tagging your beats as type beats and putting them on a YouTube page with graphics and the SEO of the type beats, meaning that if you made a beat, Kendrick Lamar type beat or Chance the Rapper type beat, the SEO of that will drive traffic to your YouTube page. A lot of people will get it. You could put tags over it, but the YouTube numbers will drive up. And so some of these producers are putting these type beats on YouTube. The videos of the beats are getting 50, 60, 70,000 plays just on the videos because of how the SEO works. They're generating money from YouTube. And they're generating money because people are actually leasing these beats because they're building themselves a business. They're building themselves a platform. They're building themselves something independent of being attached to a few artists or hoping that something lands. And then most producers that do this, like my buddy DJ Rec, like my buddy Ryan Vetter, like Curtis King, have a couple artists that they work with, passion projects, artists that they really, really, really love. They give those artists exclusives. They're not sweating them for money. They're not freaking out if the record doesn't sell, or they're not freaking out if the artist is successful with their beats because they actually have their own autonomous identity in business where they're becoming successful and they're growing their brand. So hopefully this encouraged you. Hopefully this added value. Please, if you are a producer, consider getting into the licensing and a leasing business game. It'll change everything about your life. I'll link some videos below that'll give you more context on how this works. Make sure you check out Curtis King's page. And again, if you like this, let me know. You agree? Am I tripping? Am I out of my mind? Does this tarnish your brand? Leave me a comment below. Thumbs up for the video and make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications on. Oh, and I can't forget, I'm about to announce a mixtape really soon, and make sure you're on my super phone so that you could be first to hear about it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Peace.